Last week, India's parliament passed the Waqf Amendment Bill, signed into law by the President. Muslims, the country's largest religious minority, call it a breach of trust, violating their constitutional right to religious freedom under Article 26. Many label it a genocidal project by the ruling Hindu nationalist party, Bharatiya Janata Party. So what is Waqf and how does this act discriminate against Muslims? Waqf is a Muslim practice of charitable giving, believed to bring one closer to the divine by perpetuating good deeds as taught by the Quran and the Prophet. It funds mosques, graveyards, madrasas, Sufi dargahs, and orphanages. Islam has clearly laid down rules on how to manage such revered wealth given by the people. These practices can be found in Muslim communities across the world. It has been called the vehicle of financing of Muslim communities by Marshall Hodgson, a known historian of Islamic civilization. The Indian Constitution guarantees all religious groups the right to manage their affairs. Hindus have temple boards, Sikhs have Gurudwara boards, Christians run their properties via churches, and Muslims have Waqf boards under the 1995 Waqf Act. The India government's new act, passed without Muslim consultation or opposition amendments, regulates Waqf properties. Hindu right-wing propaganda claims Waqf boards own these assets, but they only supervise them per donors' intentions. Waqf board is only a regulatory body constituted by law to supervise Waqf properties as per the intended purposes given by donors. Boards finance themselves from Waqf income, and state governments can dissolve and replace failing boards. Another target, Waqf tribunals. Specialized courts from the 1995 Act face disinformation, calling them autonomous Muslim courts. However, across the world, tribunals are widely respected dispute resolution mechanisms in modern times. Yet, tribunals introduced in India via the 1976 42nd Amendment ease court burdens. Waqf tribunals, led by district judges of any faith, resolve Waqf dispute efficiently. Critics say this propaganda attacks India's legal system. Historically, religious endowment laws, even under colonial rule, involved community consent. This act, the first in modern India without it, is seen as arbitrary and totalitarian. Here is why. First, it denies Waqf by user, a legal tool recognizing Waqf properties via continuous worship, when disputed by the government favoring state claims. The Sachar Committee, which was a 7-member high-level committee established in March 2005 by former Indian Prime Minister Manmohan Singh, noted widespread Waqf misappropriation by government agencies. This provision worsens that. Second, it brings Waqf under the Limitation Act. The Limitation Act refers to legal prohibition of claims after a certain period of time. Indian limitation laws do not entertain lawsuits if the petitioner has not shown any interest in the claims over a long period. But charitable and religious properties, which especially benefit the public, have been excluded from the purview of the Limitation Act. This privilege is given to all religious properties as they benefit a community. However, the new Waqf Act brings Waqf under the Limitation Act, which, without any doubt, will lead to moral illegal occupation of Waqf properties and claims to gain ownership by illegal occupants. Third, it imposes a faith test. Donors must be Muslims practicing Islam for 5 years. This restricts the right to dispose of property freely, a right upheld across India's plural traditions where interreligious donations like to Sufi dargahs are common. No other charitable system faces such rules. Finally, Waqf boards now include government-nominated non-Muslims, ending Muslim community control. This state intervention breaks from India's non-interventionist stance since the 1863 Religious Endowments Act, suggesting a non-secular shift that could extend to other faiths' properties. Muslims and opposition parties see this as a targeted attack, as the country has been witnessing systematic Islamophobia sponsored by the state and the ruling party itself. In the past, Hindu nationalist claims over historic mosques in India have led to their demolition. Now it's happening again. Muslims believe their masjids and other properties are at risk of being lost if an act specifically targeting Waqf is implemented. The act weakens Waqf's legal immunity, curbs religious freedom, and overrides community consent, fueling claims of discrimination. One opposition MP asked in India's parliament, "Is this a legal cover for targeting Muslim lives?"